Well, good morning, everybody. How are we all doing? Sam here, United People's TV. It was a late night last night. It's an early morning this morning. I imagine it's going to be a seriously busy week. We wondered whether reports that this week could be the week. We wondered whether it was just another, oh yeah, here we go. We've heard this all before. But I tell you what, the markets have certainly reacted to it early this week. I went live last night after Manchester United's share price spiked significantly. That's not slowed down. That's actually increased this morning. Nearly $1 billion added to the value of Manchester United as far as the market capitalization goes since last night. What's going on there? I ran through the majority of the information last night. I'll have a recap this morning, and I'll bring you any new bits of information that we didn't have the opportunity to cover last night because we were live and direct. Then we're going to be speaking about David de Gea in Saudi Arabia. We're going to be speaking, look, you can see there's a certain name I've added onto that list there, and that's called preemptive, because I guarantee you the Kylian Mbappe to Manchester United transfer rumours are about to go full tilt this summer now. I'll run through a little bit of that. We're going to speak about Declan Rice and Arsenal, Moises Caicedo, plenty of others. There'll be lots of transfer stories to discuss. But as you can tell, the majority of today's show, and I think the majority of our conversations this week, are all going to be around the takeover. Let me see who's down here in the comments. That's what I do at the start of every show. I know it's very boring. I'll never forget that comment. But I'd like to say hello to the community. Alex, you're there. Good morning to you. We've got Jonathan on Facebook. How you doing, buddy? We've got Ray, we've got John, Nigel, Haley, Paulie, you're there, Ant, you're there, Josh, you're there. I'm a potato, as always, mate. Carl, you're there, Maddie. I'm sure there are plenty more regular faces and plenty more new faces as well. But it was this story last night that led to, I suppose, the speculation. But for me, it was the market reaction, the traders speculating on it. That was the reason we went live yesterday. I would not have gone live off the back of just this article. It was a fallout that happened after. And we're going to run through all of that again this morning. Mekajin, you're saying, hi, Sam. Are you going to address the really abusive nature of many pro-Qatari members prior to recent news? Really unpleasant, mate. I've dealt with plenty of it. I've dealt with plenty of it from both sides. There's been a lot of vociferous, I think you can call it, talk whenever you say anything that somebody disagrees with. That's where the word agenda comes out. No, it's just something that you disagree with. Look, we don't need to get into those conversations this morning. Let me run through the news first. Just try not to distract by that. Otherwise, you never know, we might just never talk about it. But this was the story that came yesterday. Let me give you a quick, I don't know, 1 minute recap of what happened. It was this story here from, was it the Al Watan, which is a newspaper that Sheikh Jassim's father owns half of. And this story came out suggesting that, you know, the success of his bid, it's going to be announced soon. And everybody sort of went a bit like wildfire, didn't they? A little bit like wildfire. Because it's what a lot of people want to happen. So when there's news of it, you jump on it. I don't know whether there was any sort of credibility to that story. And the thing that always struck me about it straight away was you go straight onto the website and it's not there on the website at all. This is a big old story. A big old story. That would be front and center. Front and center. But it's not anywhere. However, the markets reacted big time. Now, this was last night, okay? Manchester United share price, as you can see, they're spiking nearly 18% after hours. Now, after hours is typically, well, that's not where the public trades. That's not like where me or your average Joe can go in, buy £10,000 worth of United shares and then make loads of money. That's traders trading. So that's what makes it interesting. And you know what makes it double interesting? It's not slowed down this morning, right? It's actually, it's gone down quite a bit from when so this was only half an hour ago. It was up over $26 per share, which is near, I think the peak price has been around about $27-ish. And that was when the story first emerged from Mike Keegan in the Daily Mail that there was a Qatari full takeover possibility happening. So it's kind of, it's gone down, what, nearly 10% since that? Yeah, gone down nearly 10% in the last half an hour. But you can see how much it's spiking, how much it's going up and down, and how much the market is reacting to either this news or the traders know something that we don't. And now we spoke about that last night. We don't need to get into that debate again. But there's more to add to this story. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything down here because I think I am judging by the. Oh, there we go. Yeah, man, look at it. Look who it is. Of course it. You are indeed a potato. What a legend, man. Legendary username, by the way. And just a legend of the channel. Gifting 5 memberships. All of you. I'm sure there are plenty of you here who maybe are joining in. It looks like a busy show. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the live chat. We try to make it as civil as possible. You can come in. I try to make this as interactive as possible. All right. And it's not that easy with, well, how many tabs? I don't even want to tell you how many tabs I've got open this morning. I think I've got a decent computer. Otherwise, my computer will be dying. Let's get a better one then, probably. Anyway, I'm going to quickly pull up this. What's being said there. Right. Let's go. Let's carry on the news. Whew. So, of course, this is an interesting one. The pre-market trade. So right now it's what, 5:10 in the morning in New York. I believe the market opens at 9:30. Is it 9 or 9:30? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what time the New York Stock Exchange opens. Must be 9, I'm guessing. No, it's 9:30. 9:30. So that's 2:30 UK time. So just over 4 hours, the market will open. And that's why I put it down there saying it's quite a big day ahead. It's quite a significant day ahead. Because, of course, if anything, as far as an actual look, right, this is what I would say. If this was correct, if, look, the announcement was coming soon, then the market has to be told. It's a legal requirement. An announcement has to go to the New York Stock Exchange of this deal being agreed. Otherwise, you just allow for loads of insider trading. So we should know come, I don't know, 2:30 this afternoon, maybe this price, this live price here, maybe it will correct itself a bit. Maybe that was speculation that was a little bit too crazy, or maybe there was something more to it. And we'll know that. But we haven't got to wait for that. That's going to happen this afternoon. Garlic bread, man. What did I'll be honest, you didn't miss much last night. Nah, didn't miss much. We were just talking about how incredible Novak Djokovic's, career has been. Nothing else sporting happened over the weekend. But let's see. And I ran through these tweets yesterday from Faisal Islam, who's the economic editor of the BBC, to give a little bit more, genuine insight rather than me trying to piece together everything. This is what he's been saying. He goes, to be clear, all our normal sources are actually keeping stum. What we have is significant share price movement in after hours New York trade, which might in turn have been driven by some definitely intriguing tweets. As I said, this one right here, it may well have been that, or it may well have been something a little bit deeper. This is an interesting part here. To explain the reason that the share price is a gauge of perceived likelihood of Qatar victory is because the Sheikh Jassim bid is for 100% of the shares and the Jim Ratcliffe one isn't. So let me explain that simply. If the noise last night, if it wasn't from, I don't know, if it wasn't from Al Watan, it wasn't this newspaper, and it was to do with the Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos success, and that's what the after hours trading was about, the shares would have gone the opposite, because those shares wouldn't benefit from a Jim Ratcliffe takeover, because Jim Ratcliffe's not looking to buy those shares. He might not even be looking to buy all of the Glazers shares. So if that was to happen, the opposite effect. And that's why you can say that this indicates towards the Qatari confidence, which is everything that we're seeing, everything that we're reading. But remember, over the last 2-3 weeks, prior to that fifth bid going in from Sheikh Jassim, it was all the confidence was towards Ineos. And now it's just swung back. But yeah, that going up, it can't be misconstrued as, oh, maybe it's positivity towards the Jim Ratcliffe deal. It's not, because the Ineos deal will not be buying these shares. So therefore, that's where you're hearing the concept of legal disputes, because hedge funds who own millions and millions and millions of Manchester United shares in value would lose money if it actually went down the Jim Ratcliffe route, if he just bought some of the Glazers out and their shares just went. Shh. That's why that's conversation about, legal routes. But yeah, it's up 19%. It's actually corrected itself more towards where it was last night. Yeah, look, in fact, it's corrected itself pretty much to exactly where it was last night. Now look at that. That's how much it's moving up and down right now. 11% it's gone down in value in the last 40 minutes. Man, it is going up and down big time. Now, what I'm going to do here is run through this article here, which is from Simon Stone from the BBC. We'll run through this, and then there's plenty more that I still want to talk about the share price, and try not to get too carried away. Right? It doesn't mean that the Qataris have won. All right, there's no way that you could go that Qatari wins, Qatari victorious. You can't speak, and you may end up being proven correct. But at this moment in time, that's not correct. William, you're saying, do you think Lindsay Train will be pissed? Yeah, of course they will be. I've spoken about them yesterday. Nearly 20% of Manchester United. I think they absolutely will be. Let's see what Simon Stone is saying from the BBC. Go over here and make sure I've not missed anything. Oh, actually, I have. Look at that, man. JVD, your ledge. Absolute hero, man. Gifting 5 memberships. I'm sure there are plenty of new faces here. Look, if you would, that's the gong. That's the Gongshi. Named after the man Gongshi himself. And if you're here long enough, you'll find out who Gongshi is. Let's run through this BBC article first, okay? Man United share price rises after reports of a successful Sheikh Jassim bid, okay? Man United share price rose 17% in after-hours trading, which we already know. The rumours originated from Qatar and involved senior officials at media organisations linked to the family. Sources involved in the process have played down the accuracy of the reports, and the price did drop slightly. However, the development comes as the summer transfer window is about to open. Sheikh Jassim lodged his 5th bid. Blah, 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 blah. That's the only bit of new information there. Sources involved in the situation have played down the accuracy of the reports. And it always seemed a bit, as I said, it seemed a bit weird. It didn't take a lot of detective work to look at that report and go, why is that not in the newspaper? That doesn't really make sense, because that is a scoop of scoops if you had it. Now, with the share price, as I said, my God, this website is so annoying. Market Watch, very annoying. With the share price spiking like that, it's not the first time it's happened. And I remember us having this conversation. Sod knows when it was. I reckon it was like maybe a month or so ago, maybe a month or so ago. I remember having this conversation and saying, look, this is not the first time that the share price has spiked off the back of speculation. You'll remember this one here. Back in February, Manchester United stock skyrockets 18%. Well, look at that. 19%. Nearly bang on. Man United's share price skyrockets 18% as Qatari investors reportedly plan to buy them. That was off the back of the initial Mike Keegan report, right? That 18% spike. And then completely the opposite way, after the ESPN article from Mark Ogden that the Glazers might stay, the stock fell 13%. Again, quite a significant change in the valuation of Manchester United, pretty much off the back of one report. It was off the back of the Mike Keegan report coming out of Qatar, and it was off the back of the ESPN report with Mark Ogden. And again, the share price of Manchester United increased when the bid, that the reports of the third Sheikh Jassim bid went in. So you can match all these up. What we've witnessed here in the last 12 hours or so is another spike. Now, this looks to me, in fact, I think it actually is, like the biggest spike that's happened so far. And it's the timing of it. Because for that amount, if you saw the amount of trades that happened, so I think there was about 3 on an average day. Let's go up. I think Faisal put this up on here. Let me try and get this up, because context is quite important with all of these. Because remember, we're trying to learn something that we don't particularly know about that much about. Where is it? There you go. So in the after hours trading on the market, there were nearly 250,000 trades, and on a normal day's full trading, 1.8 million shares trade hands. So I think it ended last night on around about 350 to 400,000 after hours trades. And right now you're looking at before hours volume is 200,000. So you're already at 600,000. There's a lot going on. It's not just one minor bit of movement. I think that's an important part to factor into all of this. Oh, man. Look at that. Oh, man. This community is incredible. It really is. I can't actually read that full name. We've got Garlic Bread Man going toe-to-toe. Who would win the fight between Garlic Bread Man and I'm a Potato? I'm not sure. I'll probably back I'm a Potato. And then that's not how it's something. You've got a name which is way too long for me to actually read out here, but legends, both of you. I can't wait to make this digital, but it's almost like I'm a bit busy with the news. I can't work on the software right now. But that's pretty much everything that has happened over these last 12 hours. And it is 12 hours, isn't it? I don't know what to... If this isn't knowledge of something behind the scenes from a Qatari perspective, man, then that would be one heck of a spike off the back of this. Which I can't rule out, as I said, because I've just shown you off the back of one article in Daily Mail, one article in Sky News, or actually ESPN, that the price has massively switched. Ace Enforcer, big up Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, by the way. Man, that is a classic film. First or second one, you let me know. Is today the day? It really does feel like this week is the week. I don't think I can say with any massive confidence that today is the day. But it really does feel, you know, who was it that first said that this week could be the week? I can't remember, it happened towards the end of last week. And we were like, oh, all right, yeah, okay. I'll believe it when I see it. It was Matt Lawton from the Times and it was Mike Keegan from the Daily Mail, if I remember correctly. And we were all a little bit, all right then. We've seen some serious activity in these 36 hours. So I'm not saying that today is going to be the day, but what I would say is today will be a big day because I think we're going to find out something quite significant when the markets open, because it won't just be about the traders speculating. We're going to see the market reaction, and that I think will be quite telling. If it crashes right back down, then maybe it was just based off one article. But if it continues and it keeps spiking upwards, because remember that if the 9-2 foundation, the Sheikh Jassim's bid is successful, you're looking at a rough, and this is a ballpark valuation. You're looking at a rough valuation of $30 per share. There or thereabouts. And I'm talking ballpark figures here. But if that happens, that's what the investors in the New York Stock Exchange would get, which is why you're seeing a spike like this, which is why you're seeing it spike up towards that $30 mark. And I hope I've sort of covered it all for you here. I hope I've sort of summarized everything. And look at that. I did that in 20 minutes. Man, legends. Whoa. I mean, we really do have a Santa Claus in here this morning. And we've got a reindeer as well in red smirk. My God, 50-50 from Claus. I never know what to say in this situation. I really genuinely, I don't know what to do. I can't hit it enough. Mate, Santa, you're a legend, man. It is absolutely raining memberships in here. And it's good to see the community growing in such an organic way. It's been a long old journey up to this point. But I hope you all enjoy the community as much as I enjoy it. And Claus, you're an absolute hero for that, man. There's nothing more I can say. And Red Smurf, I'm sorry, man, as well. 10 gifted memberships from you. Yeah, Paul, look, it's the generosity. That's what communities are. Communities are places that invite other people in because they enjoy it so much and they want to make people feel comfortable. That's what a community is. And you've all, yeah, man. Wow. I knew it was a big day ahead. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I did my video yesterday where I spoke about both bids in depth. And the reason I did that video yesterday, ladies and gents, is because I don't want to, you know how everybody comes down in the comments and they're like, Sam, who do you support? Like, which bid do you want to go for? X, Y. I'm not going to be answering those questions anymore, because if you want my opinion, I can't give my opinion in a 10, 15, 20-second response. That's why I did that video. And there's a 10-minute video. If you want to go and watch it, it'll always be where I point people towards now. What's my preference? Go and watch that. That's why I did that video. So I can always use it as a sort of, there you go. You can go and look over there. Smurf, man. Sent a super chat as well. What a hero. We as United fans want this to be over and done with. It's really playing with people's mental health. We love this club. It's more than just a football club. And the Glazers have never, ever understood that. And that's one thing, Smurf, thank you so much, man. It's one thing that we will all celebrate hard. When the Glazers go, the Glazers are gone. Well, if it's the Ineos bid, they won't be gone per se. Not straight away. But let's not think about that. But when the Glazers are not in control of Manchester United anymore, I'm going to party hard. I'm going to turn into Jack Grealish. Said it there. Said it there. It's the only thing I said this in the WhatsApp group this morning. I said, that's the only thing that's annoying me about this City and winning. I said, I like Jack Grealish. It's annoying me. Apparently, I'm not allowed to like Jack Grealish. Apparently, he's dick. This is what Ben Jacobs has said on the, of course, Ben, who's, I think we're on, Alex, I think it was you who asked me to do this a while ago. I made a playlist this morning where I put all of my interviews with Ben Jacobs in one place, right from the very beginning. Geez, 7 months ago. I think we've had 10 interviews now. And I'm in contact with Ben quite often, quite a lot. So I will bring Ben on again. Maybe I'll bring Ben on this afternoon. I'm not sure whether that would really help anything. I don't think there's anything more that Ben could add at this stage. Aloysius, you're asking, am I going to drink champagne? Honestly, this might be a bad take, but I swear to God, Prosecco is just as good as champagne, but you really, for the majority of the time, unless you go high end. And when you spend high end, you start tasting it with champagne. But majority of the time, champagne is like, average. Anyway, this is what Ben's saying. He goes, lots of speculation around the sale process. As of last night, no group has been informed that they are successful. As soon as one is, the market has to be told. The New York Stock Exchange, from a legal requirement, they have to make that announcement because it would affect the share price. So at that point, we will definitely know. James telling me to get organic Prosecco. I'd rather just drink a few beers. Personal preference. Personal preference. I'm actually getting some support, some Prosecco support down here in the comments. A good scotch to celebrate, mate. If I have whiskey just gets you a different sort of drunk. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's an ingredient. Whiskey just gets you a different level of, it's like red wine. When you drink red wine is like a Sunday afternoon vibe. I know somebody drinks red wine on a night out, and I'm like, what are you doing? On a night out. Terrible. But that's the latest that we have, okay? In my opinion, I think this will be a big day. But there are so much more stories that we need to run through and discuss. And there's one big one here to begin with, right? And that's David de Gea and Saudi Arabia. Because I've always said, well, if you sort of step back and you think, right, okay, what are De Gea's options this summer? You think, well, Atletico Madrid aren't going to be signing him. They've got Oblak. Real Madrid, they don't need him. They've got Courtois. So that's both Madrid clubs ruled out, which is exactly where De Gea would want to go if he was to leave. But of course, he's been on the verge of signing a new deal at Manchester United for how long now? Months and months and months. And then Fabrizio Romano tweeting this morning, saying, look, Saudi clubs are aware of the verbal agreement being at the final stage between De Gea and United, but are still insisting that they want to tempt him. And I'll be very interested to find out what happens here, because I've spoken about it with you at great length now. There's one of two reasons as to why De Gea has not signed that new contract. Either he doesn't agree with the terms, the money, the lack of guarantees for game time. He doesn't agree with what the terms are, or United and Ten Hag are holding back on those, holding back on him signing it. Or it could be both of those together. Do you think De Gea would be tempted by Saudi Arabia? Given that N'Golo Kante has just been offered, what is it, 100 million euros a year? I think. So presumably De Gea would get more than that, considering he's not at the same stage of his career as Kante is. Do you think he would be tempted by that? Or do you think that De Gea would just be like, nah, man, no chance? You know, a bit like Lewandowski's come out and spoken about it. He goes, look, I see all these links to Saudi Arabia. I've got absolutely I don't care about it whatsoever. But also at the same time, as much as we talk about, oh, is De Gea tempted X, Y, Z? And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. It's not really his choice. Man United at this point in time, if we don't agree a new contract with him, he leaves on a free transfer. He'll just leave the club. It won't really be down to whether De Gea wants to stay or not. Man United would take that decision for him. I'm going to put this down as a poll today, right? I think this would be an interesting one to do and a good poll to have. Start a poll. Do you think De Gea would be tempted by a Saudi offer? We don't need to know. We don't need to like speculate about how much that offer would be or what club it would be. It's kind of irrelevant. It's just a conversation about whether or not you think he would be tempted by it. You can let me know in the comments. De Gea has said he wants to stay in Manchester. His family's settled. I agree with that, Carl. I'm unsure as to whether he would. But it's also a case of being wanted, isn't it? And it's not as if United are forcing him out the door, but it's obvious. So, like when I first, the De Gea situation was quite similar to the Ronaldo situation in that it's not that I went early. It's not that I like sort of jumped on the bandwagon early and it's just I saw what was coming in front of us. The Ronaldo situation, I saw it way before it happened and it was painful, but then it happened. The De Gea situation has been a problem for a while. And not a lot of people wanted to hear that, but the evidence kept mounting and mounting and mounting. I think someone sent a super chat. I don't want to miss that. Let me read this one out. Jack, how you doing, buddy? You're saying if this turns into a full summer saga with Mbappe rumors added, I'm gonna cry. Oh my god. You can, as I said, you can see the name I've added onto that list there. The preemptive ad of Mbappe's name, because I know what's coming. I absolutely know what's coming. Pete, you're saying money talks. Hey, look, money does talk, but money isn't the driver for absolutely everybody. With Harry Kane, for example, he's got a big family, very settled in where he is, wants that Premier League top goal scorer record. And look, maybe because of a certain, where is he? That one there. Maybe because of a certain player, Real Madrid aren't going to be needing to sign Harry Kane this summer. And Real Madrid now, well, how can we possibly fill that Karim Benzema hole? I'll tell you what. How about getting Mbappe? Look, I guarantee you that Mbappe, he's on that board there for a reason because the stories are going to come. I've already added it. Call that preemptive. And that's off the back of this last night. Confirmation coming from L'Equipe in France that Mbappe has told PSG he is not going to be signing a contract extension. So what that means is his current deal ends in 2024 and the option was there to extend it by one more year. Mbappe has decided he doesn't want to do that, which leaves PSG with two options. Option number one, lose Mbappe on a free transfer next summer. Option number two, sell Mbappe this summer. And I think we all know which one of those it's going to be. There is no way that PSG, as Fabrizio Romano has written it there is no plan to lose him for free. And in my opinion, if he goes anywhere else apart from Madrid, I will be staggered. And also, Mate, Real Madrid. Bellingham, Valverde, Chouameni, and Camavinga, making Chouameni. All together in the same team. I've already said Bellingham, I think. Can't remember. Vinicius Jr., Mbappe. It's like you're cheating. It's cheating. And you're down there saying, honestly, I could see Qatar wanting to. Of course. And that's the direct link which is happening. And maybe this is all played into this. Maybe that's all played its part in Manchester United's share price spiking. Jonathan with the point down there saying, look, kind of same thing with Daniel Levy and Kane that you get with Mbappe and PSG. And I agree. I don't think Spurs will want to or will even entertain the concept of losing Harry Kane for free. So either he signs a new deal, they sell him this summer, or they run a risky game. What do you think happens with Mbappe? Surely it's to Madrid. And I know there's going to be United fans that get dead excited about it. You know how FFP is a problem? Honestly, I don't think you could. Would there be a more expensive player in the world than Mbappe? Maybe Erling Haaland? Maybe. But I'm not sure there would. I'm really not sure there would be. In terms of the wages, in terms of the money involved, it's right up there with the single most expensive thing. What do you think is a genuine price for Mbappe? This is, as I said, I don't think it's going to go any further than this, but I'll be interested to know. What do you think PSG? Because if they're going to lose him for free, they're going to sell him this summer. How much do you think he's worth? A lot is the answer to that. There's a super chat there. Let me read this bad boy out. JVD, how you doing, buddy? Maybe you have had to add Mbappe onto that list. You can take one off Koku. Yeah, no, I've already said to everyone, JVD, I'll say it to you again now. I won't be rubbing any names off this list. This is supposed to be a place where you look and you see how many players will be linked with this summer. It's not going to be actual movements. They all go down to so that even if a player, like even if, I don't know, David de Gea joins Spurs, I'm not rubbing him off the list because he has been linked to us. That's the whole concept of that list. Otherwise, if I was going through that and keeping on top of where 60 players are moving, I would do nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. And the show would be even worse. Mark, you think 200 mil plus? I mean, I wish I could just completely dismiss that, but you're not the only one. He's going for Neymar's price, 200, 150 with 1 year. Well, I think we spoke about this yesterday. I think it was around about 100, somewhere between 150 and 200 mil that Real Madrid have rejected for him when they tried to sign him with 1 year left. And it's kind of the same situation again now, isn't it? Save the Jungle said no one can afford Mbappe unless your name is Real Madrid, who somehow, remember when Real Madrid, it was like everyone was talking about them not having much money. And then out of nowhere, they just signed everyone. Yeah, I think they're going to be absolutely fine. Alex, you sent a super chat. Let me read this bad boy out. Thank you very much, dude. You're saying, Sam, can you see a scenario where Henderson and De Gea leave? We get a goalkeeper before number 9. Brighton want for Bruggen. That's about 6 questions. Yes, I can see a situation where Henderson and De Gea both leave. The goalkeeper, the number 9 situation, I think, revolves around Kane. I don't think United want to get dragged into something that really sort of drags out this. I don't know. I don't know about transfers yet. I really, really don't know. The only one that we've got any sort of clarity on is Mason Mount. Everything else is just, it's almost like we've got bigger fish to fry than speaking about we're going to get this player before that player and this player before that player. And what about this player there? And 2 players leaving. I think we're going to sell a lot of players. Then we're going to sign a fair amount of players. And we've got a takeover, all to do in the same summer. Well, I thought last summer was crazy. This summer really is going to be a wild one. Brendan saying, what about 100 mil plus Sancho for Mbappe? I think Sancho gets 1 more year, man. Personal opinion. I think Sancho gets 1 more year. Going over here, and we can see Rasmus Højlund speaking about the Manchester United rumours, saying, look, it's a huge club. I must have done something right. If it says they want me, my goal was to reach the absolute top shelf right there next to the magazines. And you can say that Manchester United is, so it would be huge. He would be absolutely buzzing about the move, and of course he would. He's only 20. He's got his whole career ahead of him. He sees what's going on in the Premier League right now. Every every player with the ambition to be the best. The Premier League is, by some margin now, the destination. We've got all the best managers, got the majority of the best players. It's where all the biggest wages are. The competition's only increasing in intensity. And yeah, now is definitely the time for the Premier League to really start dominating in Europe as well. And as we've seen, that happened this summer. I don't personally think, from an FFP perspective, right? I still haven't done that video yet. Almost like I'm busy doing other things. But I don't think you realize that we do have a limit this summer. And us getting the Qataris in, would that change our desire to sign Mbappe? Yes, it absolutely would. Would it change our actual financial capability of signing Mbappe? Not really. Not according to the books. And I want our new owners, whoever they are, to do things according to the books, because we do not need to go down that route. And we don't need that conversation. Let's super chat there from Dean. What are you saying, sir? If the Qatari takeover goes ahead, you're going to need it. 10 points for the reference. But yeah, we're definitely going to need a bigger board. I need to update the number on the top right, actually. I keep forgetting. It's not 56 anymore. I'll do it after this. I'll do it after the show there. I'll give it a little bit of an update. Big T saying, do you see a Premier League investigation into Qatar happening? Now, I think I've said this quite a few times. The scrutiny that will happen on a potential Qatari takeover of Manchester United will be to the extreme. It will be more than the Newcastle one was. It will be more, of course, than the City one ever was. That's what happens when you're Manchester United. They just look, the intensity, the magnifying glass just goes a little bit closer. It's what happens. We're front page news, we're back page news, we are the news. We haven't won the league since 2013 or the Champions League since 2008. And still, we are one of the biggest 3 clubs in the world. United is always the story. So the idea that any sort of Qatari takeover could happen quite straightforward, I'm not too optimistic about that. I imagine it's going to get delayed, but that's just my sort of opinion on that. That's not based on any sort of fact or anything. What we're saying down here in the comments, Spence, you're saying if we somehow fumble the Højlund signing, I swear he's begging to join us. Get him in. It's all around money. It's all around all the speculation and stories that we've heard about Mason Mount bid 50 mil, Kim, Moani, Harry Kane, Højlund, Rabiot. It's all just speculation still. And I imagine it probably will be until we've got an answer on that. And once we've got an answer, once we've got movement, then I think you're going to start seeing the actual bids going in. Because right now, there's no money on the table for Manchester United at all, anywhere. It's not really a talk about a bid anyway. What are you saying down there? We've talked about cousin about this. An interesting family you got there. I know the need for a centre forward is great, but it's arguable the need for control in midfield is greater. I think you can have a fair argument about the need for a goalkeeper, the need for a world-class midfielder, and the need for a striker. I think the striker is... you must be like 95%, probably more of United fans would agree that a striker is the priority. I would personally argue number 2 is the goalkeeper, and I've been arguing that for a long old time. Just like I argued about how important a defensive midfielder was, and all of a sudden we saw him and it's like, oh, our team is better. Who could have seen that coming? Who could possibly have seen that coming, apart from absolutely everybody? Paul, you're saying Mbappe's on the last year of his contract might be cheaper. Hey, it might only be 140 million instead of 150 million. He's going to be a lot of money, man. He is going to be a lot of money. Brian, you're saying 200% priority as a striker. Yeah, I think we need 2 strikers. Made that abundantly clear as well. I think it's a striker first. It's a goalkeeper second. And then I think you're arguing between another world-class centre-back or another world-class central midfielder. I think a lot of people probably say the central midfielder. Speaking about central midfielders, yeah, I haven't really sort of entertained the Declan Rice stories too much because everything has always pointed towards Arsenal. And it looks like they're going to get their man. The Guardian, Jacob Steinberg, reporting that Arsenal were closing in on a £100 million deal. It's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but I genuinely think Declan Rice. I would love United to sign Declan Rice or Moises Caicedo. I put them both in the same category. Slightly different characteristics, but similarly box-to-box top-level midfielders inside the Premier League. They're kind of part of a new... Would you say part of a new breed of midfielder? Well, maybe not a new breed of midfielder, but a certain style of midfielder, which in the modern system really, really works. Declan Rice for 100 mil. It's a lot. Will it improve that Arsenal team? Absolutely significantly. Absolutely significant. It doesn't make sense. I think it'll be a fantastic signing for them. And you can laugh about how much that is, but yeah, United could really, really do with Declan Rice as well. And then I think my worry about this is everything we're seeing now is, and everything we've seen since day one, is Arsenal and Declan Rice. And everything we've seen about Caicedo so far is about Chelsea. Because remember, Chelsea lost out on Ugarte, who was supposed to be joining them, but then went to PSG. So they want another top-class midfielder. Brighton is selling him, made it clear. Arsenal they went in for him in January, and then he got rejected. Now they've got Declan Rice instead. Jordan, you're saying Rice is a 40 to 50 million player at best, and it's just like, dude, you just don't understand the market, man. Like this, it's completely wrong. 40, 50 mil is like James Maddison. And it's only because that for like your average sane football fan, you're looking at it and you're going, how much? Nah, it's wild. I mean, the prices are wild. But the Premier League is effectively the Super League now. There is so much money inside our league. Last summer, Nottingham Forest spent 150 mil. Watch how much the teams, just all the teams, spend this summer. It's going to be a wild one. And you think that Caicedo would be mad to choose Chelsea? I like to think so as well. But also, we've just spoken about it there. Priorities, striker. I would argue goalkeeper number 2, but I'm not sure whether that's actually the case. Number 3, another striker, or number 3, a centre back, or number 3, well, Mason Mount. I don't think anybody vote. Wow. If you understand the system, I think Ten Hag's moving towards with the 2 number 8s, then Mason Mount kind of makes sense. But still, I think I'd be looking at other midfielders first. That's just my opinion. Ben saying, what will Luton spend? Don't know. Hope I get the away ticket. That'll be the golden away ticket next year. Luton. That's the one that everyone's going to want to go to. That'll be fantastic. I think one of my favourite stadiums I've seen United in was Bournemouth. Weird as it is. It's just, I like the old school nature. It might be an old bloke. I like the closeness you get with old school stadiums. Like seeing those players, your players up that close in those stadiums are really, really cool. Look, that was a big, big show. I hope that you feel I've covered it well. It was something's happening this week. This feels like a lot. Feels like a lot of movement for it to just be off the back of effectively a tweet. Because it's not on the website. It's not anywhere else. And it's not really been said by anywhere else. Nothing from David Ornstein. Nothing from Mike Keegan. Nothing from any other journalist that we've sort of followed throughout this whole process. But let's find out. Look, I'll be back here. I might be back here later on. I don't think I can have any plans this week. I was supposed to be going to a Nas and Wu-Tang Clan gig tonight. But I had to sell that because of work. But I'll let you off. I actually haven't sold it yet. So if anyone's in London and you want a Nas and Wu-Tang Clan ticket, slide in my DMs because I'm trying to sell it. And the show's tonight. I haven't quite sold it yet. But yeah, I'll be here if I need to be later on. Thank you all for tuning in. And if you can, I need to ask this earlier in the show, man. 45 minutes it's taken me to ask. Can you please drop a like on the video? It does make a big, big difference. Big up to everybody who gifted a membership. If you want to, every month we do a raffle here on United People's TV. We've done a PS5. We've done an Xbox Series X. We're on 500 quid cash. And now we're doing a 50-inch 4K TV and a Bose soundbar. It's the biggest prize so far. And next month's is even bigger. Trust me. Ian, you're saying, Sam, when the announcement happens, will you be going live? I'm going to keep some cold ones in the fridge for that. Absolutely. Just depends where I am. Depends when it is, I suppose. Craig is saying, what a gig that would be. I know I'm going to regret it. but I have to be here for work, responsibilities and all that. It's boring being an adult, isn't it? I just want to go and be Jack Grealish for a night. Anyway, big up to everybody. Much love. I'll see you soon.